Well, I first became interested in Scrappin Valley as a customer of the old Temple Inland Company. I buy products from Temple Inland and now GP, but I came out here after they renovated the lodge and went through the property looking at it. And so when I heard it was for sale and Lloyd and I came out here, I knew instantly that I wanted to try to protect some of it. I think that what I like about Longleaf is that I like fire, and I like grass growing below trees, and grass and fire are natural for Longleaf, so that's predominantly why I like them. I also have had a lot of success selling poles for telephones, and anybody that gets a few checks doing that is going to want to plant Longleaf. No, I've never been intimidated by the RCW. In fact, that's one of the reasons why Lloyd and I were successful bidding on this property from international paper. Was most of the people bidding were scared of the red cockaded woodpecker. I'm, however, opposite. What a red cockaded woodpecker likes is what I like. I like the big longleaf with the rolling hills, the grass growing below it. And so, I mean, whatever they like, I like. I like big trees. My main focus on land is I don't hunt, I don't fish, I don't play golf. I walk through the woods, and I picked that up from my dad in the 80s. He started doing the same thing. And so if you're that kind of bent, if you like walking through the woods, you got to have pretty woods to walk through. And so that is the main focus of why I got involved with Scrappin, is because it's absolutely the prettiest place in the woods to walk. One of the biggest things about Scrappin is my family, my son and my wife. We believe that we're just the current custodians for the part of Scrappin that has the woodpeckers. The Temple family bought it, I think, in about '43, and I know they won a Longleaf Award in 1988. But when you go through a tract of property and you see flat top longleafs, you know that somebody has been nurturing a piece of property for a long time. And so our philosophy is that we're just the current custodians, and we're going to do an easement with the Nature Conservancy, and we're going to try to protect it beyond whatever span the Duncans are involved with it. And I know that easements are just paper, but our hope is that the Nature Conservancy can keep this thing going for eternity. I burn a lot. In fact, my philosophy is if something doesn't like fire, it's not going to work well with me. And so I try to burn a lot. We've done some logging this year, and so we hadn't burned much this year, but I expect us to burn about probably 600 to 700 acres a year. And I subcontract it all out. I know you can buy insurance to burn yourself, but I'm not going to try that, so I use contract burners. Well, on my part of Scrappin, there's actually 50-plus-year-old slash, 50-plus-year-old loblolly, and I'm not doing any clear cutting because I like to see trees, but also I've got woodpeckers. And I'm moving away from both loblolly and slash to longleaf, and it's predominantly for being able to sell as poles. I mean, I think we cut, this year we're cutting 50-something loads of poles off of our property. And you know, the economics are, the landowner, in this case us, this year is getting $56 a ton for poles that will probably get 20 to 24 a ton for loblolly saw logs. And so the economics are there. Well, there's really just not much choice in my mind. If you're in a longleaf area and you're planning on planting and growing it out, if your children are on board, there's no question you ought to be going longleaf and going for poles, which means that you've got to manage the track for poles, which means thinning at the proper time, thinning properly. But in my question, there's no question in East Texas, you should be growing longleaf for poles. I have a safe harbor agreement on this tract. The history of the tract is that this is one of the areas that Temple moved the red-cockaded woodpeckers to when they relocated them from other areas. And so there's a safe harbor agreement, and I'm required to have one anyway. But a landowner that's growing big trees should have a safe harbor agreement anyway. They need to have the flexibility that if they're going to grow big, pretty trees and they encounter some woodpeckers, they need to have the option of being able to call the Texas Parks and Wildlife and having the birds removed. You shouldn't grow big trees and not have a safe harbor agreement. Yeah, the Louisiana pine snake, the last known location in the wild in East Texas was on Scrappin Valley. It was about 7 years ago. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife has trapped for probably 6 of the past 7 years. And then I got a grant to continue trapping this past year and this year. And to my knowledge, no pine snakes have been found, but this is prime habitat. The Texas Longleaf team has really been a big help to me. They've introduced me to a lot of different organizations and also resources. There are more resources to somebody that wants to get into longleaf than you can shake a stick at.